Hi everyone, it's Hayes. In today's video we're going to do the commentary / analysis for episode 11 of Miraculous Ladybug season 6 Revelator. As always, I'm about to spoil the entire episode for you, so if you haven't seen it yet, please go and watch it. And oh my god, you're gonna want to watch this one. I know some of you don't even like watching the episodes anymore and just like watching these as your watching of the episode, which is really lovely and sweet of you, but I think you're gonna want to watch this one anyway. So I'm sorry if I look a bit tired and I'm sorry if the lighting's a bit dark. I usually pretty much film everything, pretty much you see everything on my channel. 95% of the videos are done before noon. I think the only things I've filmed that haven't been have been the vlogs and the collaborations I did with Miraculous Lazy and Cartoon Apocalypse. That's it, because of the time differences. I had to be done in the afternoon because my morning is the night time for them. Otherwise, pretty much everything you see is done in the morning, so sorry if the lighting's a little bit off because I don't have proper lights, I just use daylight. I'm sorry if I look or sound a bit tired. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I knew as soon as I got home I had to watch this because like I just had to. I just knew the trailers made it look amazing and oh my god, it was. 8 out of 10. We'll do the quick thoughts first. Oh my god, 8 out of 10. I feel that the revelation in this episode, what Rena Rouge saw, what she found out, was like everything I've basically, well not everything, but one of the major things I've been waiting for. Because when I saw Recreation, to me I was like, yeah, Marinette's told Alia the truth. No, the rest of Paris think Gaby Baby was a hero, but Alia knows the truth. No, she didn't, and I slowly realised that between the long hiatus between the 2 seasons, but now, oh my god. So I feel like this episode is one of the things I've been waiting for. I guess on top of this, obviously always waiting for the reveal. I'm also waiting for the rest of Paris to find out Gabriel's monarch, of course for Adrian to find out that he was lied to, all this, that and the other. I'm waiting for a lot of things, but this was one of the things at top of my list, Alia finding out. And I said, like, I literally think, did I make a theory video for Thursday? Whatever my last theory video was, I'm pretty sure I said, I think Alia could find out, but I'm not sure what her reaction's gonna be. Oh my god, the reaction was so good. This is the thing with a lot of stuff. I get excited about something being revealed, but they don't always pull the reaction off well. For example, Wishmaker, Luca finding out about Ladybug and Catnoir's identities. Excellent episode. But honestly, I didn't really feel like it had a good follow through in Migration in season 5. Like, it was fine. It wasn't terrible, it was just fine. This one had an amazing follow through. Just love it. However, it's an 8 out of 10 because even though I think it had some really solid writing in, I did feel overall the episode was a little bit disjointed, and I feel that was because Vincent lacked a motivation. Now don't get me wrong, he was an adult bullying a child on the internet. There would have been no motivation under the sun that I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense, I agree with you. Because no. There is really no motivation. Even if Vincent was a child, that would have been like, yeah, I agree with you. Okay, like, there would have been no justification. However, I just personally, like, I know internet trolls exist, which is basically what Vincent was doing. Which, if you don't know, a troll is basically someone who is mean or picks on others for no real reason other than they think it's fun to mess with someone, basically, regardless of the harm and the effects it could have, which is what Vincent was basically doing. So whilst they absolutely exist, I feel that was a bit unsatisfying to watch personally, and it made the episode feel disjointed because there was no solid motivation. Had he been manipulated by Lila, I would have been like, okay, like, she was like saying like, oh, Marinette's a horrible person, you need to talk about her on your blog, your podcast, your YouTube channel, whatever the equivalent was in this world. Or maybe he was fueled because he really liked Adrian or something. I think that would have been more effective. Again, that wouldn't have made it okay, but just so we had some motivating factor. And I think that this was kind of like base of the episode with what Vincent was doing is basically fueled by Thomas Astruc. I don't really think from what he's said on Twitter and what I've seen from his Blue Sky, I don't have Blue Sky, I don't know what he says, I knew if I did I wouldn't follow him on there anyway. He doesn't really like, I think, like the culture around people who make content around Miraculous, especially if it's more critical or negative. So I guess basically kind of the videos I make. Although I would say I only criticise Miraculous when there's stuff to critique about it. There's definitely channels out there, and I won't name any names, but I'm sure you can find them, that basically sit down for an episode and they look for the teeniest, tiniest things to pick apart about the show and say bad things about it, even when it's like a complete non-issue. And it's horrible and it's toxic, but also at the same time, there are fans of the show who love it so much that they think it's all incredible when it's not, and aren't willing to say when something is objectively bad about the show. They are equally just as toxic about each other. So I think to Thomas, a lot of the people who are negative about the show are gossipers like Vincent and not influencers or whatever. Although I do find it extremely ironic, since Vincent was an adult bullying a child, when Thomas, an adult, also bullies children on social media. So, you know, did find it kind of funny and ironic that he was doing that. So, yeah. And for anyone saying, oh, he doesn't do that, I know I'm not a child, but Thomas has done it to me, which I made a whole video on. There's a blog on Tumblr called The Immaturity of Thomas Astruc. It documents all his terrible behaviour. If you don't know much about it, which is fine if you're not on Twitter, not everyone knows, that's fine, but if you've never seen a video about Thomas Astruc's behaviour, that blog documents pretty much like the highlights of his bad behaviour, not every single thing. Because honestly, I just really don't think he's a really good person. He's just not very nice. Unless you're a yes man to him, which most people aren't, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the episode properly now. So the first little section before the title sequence absolutely got me, of course. I think like most people, I assumed it was to do with Yakuma. No, it's them training themselves in, it looks like the metro under town hall, maybe? I'm not really sure. It was a really fast section. I really liked it though, where they're basically, because I'm pretty sure other people have said like in, for example, the Illustrator, Nino and Ali, when they're transformed in that episode, they use their powers more than once and don't have to go and recharge. They just carry on, right? Like Ladybug and Cat Noir after Revolution. So obviously that happened, and I think there are clues to that in it, because for example, Sabrina, her Miss Hound outfit in those scenes is the older one, which we know in Daddy Cop she has the newer one. So I think that section, just the start of Revelator, not the rest of it, that section of Revelator is set like one of the first things that would happen chronologically in the season. And then after the title cards, you look like Alia's on the Ladybug, it shows pictures of the heroes helping around, and thankfully one of them is of Miss Hound, and in that image she is in her new outfit. So it seems the rest of Revelator, anyway, the rest of it is set after Daddy Cop. What happens with the episode in between, I don't know because I haven't seen them yet. But that, just this first section with the heroes is before seemingly everything else, but I'm not really sure when because we haven't seen Climatic Queen yet. But Felix was there, which was fun and interesting since he hasn't made an appearance yet this season, and so was Luca. Glad to know they're both not dead. Anyway, however, I do have to say, there's one bit where Kim and I think Zoe as well, they run from their cubicles? I don't know what they were made out of, I don't know where they got these from, no clue. They run to lockers to recharge or retransform or whatever when they can't do it, which is fine, but they run in front of everyone. So do some people know the identities of the others? Like Kim, yeah, a lot of people knew it, but I don't think anyone really knew Zoe's apart from Marinette. So do they know, or are they just all concentrating so hard on what they had to do that no one noticed? Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. That's a definite possibility. I've already had a long day. But anyway, I loved it. The start totally got me, like when we saw it in the trailers. I was like, oh my god, something terrible's happening. Because to be fair, in that trailer, Alia looked very, very worried that she was slowly de-transforming, and I was like, god, this is tragedy. And no, they were just training. Although, like, it makes sense. It's very useful to be able to just reuse it all the time, so I get the need for it. I liked it. Anyway, then we have Alia on the beach. She's like, I'm a human lie detector. Gang of secrets. Alia had zero clue. She had no clue before that Marinette was Ladybug, and also Lila. Like, did she eventually realise she internalized? Yes. How long did that take though? A very long time. Although Chloe keeps being mentioned. Of course we saw her in Daddy Cop, and then in the bakery on Vincent's little expose about Adrianette. It talks about Chloe being like the new fashionista that all the teenagers are following apparently, even though she's in London, not Paris now. They keep mentioning her, so I'm like, is she going to be back? I don't care either way if she comes back or not. I just want them to do a good job. Which is basically my motto with the show. I don't care what you do, just do a good job. Okay, if the next episode we see everyone is bright blue, that's great, just do a good job. That's all I care about. Doing a good job, do what you want, just do a good job. I saw a tweet the other day where someone was like, oh my god, all the older Miraculous fans just want Miraculous to be more mature so they don't have to admit to like people their own age that they watch a show for kids. And I'm like, I will tell anyone and everyone who is interested that I watch Miraculous Ladybug. Okay, I'm 28 years old. My favourite episodes are Guilt Trip and Party Crasher. They're not particularly serious episodes. Like Cat Blank, Ephemeral, the most serious one, Strike Back, Recreation, serious. Party Crash is not serious. I will tell anyone. Okay, I don't care if it's mature. Just want it to be good. So then we have Marinette on the phone call with Alia and Adrian, and I'm just like, I appreciate Marinette's naivety about seeing the best in people, but I also, because she's like, when she's talking about Vincent, when she's like, oh, like I haven't done anything to him. Why would he do this to me? Which I get her reasoning. She's correct. She hasn't done anything to him. Like, I'm pretty sure she hasn't spoken to this man since Pixelator, which was what, season 1, season 2? I don't even remember. I think it was season 1. That was a long time ago. Like, Miraculous is set over a year, seasons 1 to 5. So this is like a whole year later. So she hasn't done anything to this man. So is she correct? Yes, but also at the same time, hi mister, where are you going? Okay, there's nothing there. But anyway, also at the same time though, I do think it's quite not in keeping with what has happened to her, because arguably she also did nothing to Gabriel, but he still did all of this stuff to her. You know what I mean? Like in season 5, so I'm a bit like, I appreciate her naivety and her positivity about people, but after everything that's happened to her, I'm just a bit like, would you really think that? You know? Because I'm not sure she would. So that's another thing that kind of makes the episode seem a little bit disjointed. Again, having Vincent's motivation wouldn't make it okay, it would just make it flow a little better and make a bit more sense, basically. So thankfully Marinette tells her parents that they're going to go and talk to Vincent, and they're like, you are not going on your own, you are children, take an adult with you. So glad Sabine said that. I was so glad that was in the episode, because I was just like, do not do this on their own. So Tom went, the bodyguard was there, loved the bodyguard, he was great. Speaking of the adults though, right in that beach scene they showed Andre. What did they do to him? His fate. That's his brother Andrew, which I know Andre is probably like the French equivalent name of Andre, but like, that's not Andre. I'm sorry. But it was just, anyway, the podcast, I liked it, it was a cute idea, but as soon as it started happening, like, well, maybe it wasn't a podcast, the video, whatever they recorded with Vincent, as soon as it started, I was like, Marinette, I understand what you're trying to do, this isn't going to go in your favour, it's going to go badly. Although, whilst it was being recorded, I thought it was very cute, especially the retelling of the umbrella scene, and he's like, oh, so you get together straight away? And they're like, no, absolutely not. I did think it was very, very cute. So obviously it gets taken out of context, Marinette's still upset, so Alia's just like, let's sort this out superhero style, and which I wouldn't normally support. I was just like, this guy's gone too far, he has to be exposed as a liar. You're gonna have to do it. And oh my god, Alia's look that she mirages onto herself. I loved it. I wouldn't wear it myself, I couldn't pull it off, but it looked amazing on her. I absolutely loved it. And obviously as a result he gets akumatized. And honestly, usually the Akuma isn't my favourite in the episode. It's usually like my least favourite part, just because I'm here for literally anything other than the superhero stuff. But I thought it was absolutely amazing. I love the power. Obviously it's been changed, so Pixelator, if you don't remember, they get zapped with Vincent's power and they get taken to photography limbo. This time it's they get zapped, whatever that person's deepest darkest secrets, that first guy, Maya's dad, obviously doesn't have a life if that's his secret, that he eats his own bogies, or what's the American word? Do you say boogers? That doesn't sound correct. We call them bogies. Anyway, I'm like, this man clearly does not have a life if that's his secret. And then when Vincent puts it into his eye socket, which was fun to watch, it gets broadcast to everyone across the city, which was legendary. Loved it. Amazing. And as soon as Ladybug was hit with a laser and her orb came out, I was like, Ali's gonna know. I didn't for 1 second worry about Cat Noir's, because no one ever finds out his identity apart from Luca. I was like, I'm not worried about this. No one's gonna know, it's gonna be fine. Was not worried about Cat Noir. But as soon as Ladybug's came out, I was like, Ali's gonna know, and I was like, what is Ali's reaction gonna be? Because I wasn't sure when we got that first trailer, I think it was the trailer from Glue, they showed us that footage of Rena Rouge glaring, and then it cuts to Ladybug being like, And I was like, is this misleading? Is Rena really glaring at her? Maybe Rena's glaring at someone else, and they just spliced in that when it wasn't, didn't actually belong there. but oh my god it did, and oh my god. Yeah, oh my god. So I wasn't worried about Cat Noir, but I knew immediately as soon as that orb came out for Ladybug. I knew. I did film a reaction video, so you'll be able to see it. Tomorrow I'm going to put this video up on Sunday and the reaction video will be up on Monday. Oh my god, it was everything. One of the things I have been waiting for. It didn't quite get a Gang of Secrets reaction out of me, but almost. Oh my god, the glare. Oh, the glare. However, I did think during the battle wasn't the time to discuss it. I was like, no, this is not the right time and place, Alia. However, I did get it because also at the same time, like, they were going to do the thing with Cat Noir's power up and she was going to forget. So I kind of got it, but I was like, it's now the time. Although I 100% agree with what Ali said. I understand why Marinette did it, don't get me wrong. I get why she's keeping it from Adrian. I 100% understand. But I also haven't agreed with her since Recreation. Like, do I get why you've done it? Yes. Do I think you should have done that? No. I always get loads of comments, just like the general commentary on social media, is if you had to do something similar at Marinette's age, you probably wouldn't have made a better choice. I hate to break it to you, I did have to do something similar at Marinette's choice. And I made the opposite choice to her. And spoilers, it was really terrible. I wish I'd kept it a secret at the time. But when I was like 15, 16, a year or so later, I was like, no, I'm glad I said it. So yeah, it wasn't very nice, but I didn't think it was worth keeping it a secret. So maybe other people would have made the same decision as Marinette, but I wouldn't have. So I 100% agree with everything Alia said. I get why Marinette's done it. I don't hate her for it, and I understand it was also done for having loads of drama this season, and if it's not resolved all this season, everyone doesn't find out. I get it could have knock-on effects in the rest of the show. I 100% get it from a writer's perspective, but I also don't agree with it. I understand, but I also don't like it. You know what I mean? I understand physics and I hate that. Completely different, but you know. Dislike it intensely. And then we have the Cat Noir power-up. Oh my god, where he just wills it. It's great. I don't mind the willing stuff when it's a power-up. I like that. Not so much when it's like the Amok stuff that we saw in Where Papa's. That was just bizarre. But with the power-ups, I do like them being willed because the power is directly linked to themselves, their person, and their skills and their belief in themselves. So I loved it. It was great to resolve damage done to people. Could he cure brain damage then? Could he also give people amnesia? Is he going to be doing the rounds at the hospital anytime soon? Or is it just from Akuma effects? Just the effects of Akuma. I'd love to know how this is going to work. But I loved it, and then he says Miraculous Cat Noir. Yes, that bit was a highlight. And also I forgot to mention, just before the Akuma attack starts, where Alia and Marinette and Trix and Tiki are having like a little Kwame picnic at the end of the show. I want the final scene to be like end of Heroes Day in season 2, picnic with all the holders, and then like on the blanket in front of them, circle of Kwames all eating their favourite snacks. Got Tiki with the macarons, Plag with his camembert, everyone else with whatever it is they eat because I don't know what the rest of the Kwames like to eat. Yes. But yeah, the power-up scene was amazing, and obviously we had the scene of Lila, and Lila clearly know, obviously we know Lila already knew Gaby Baby was Monarch Daddy, so she knows Ladybug is lying. So it's only a matter of time. Like I've always said, I said at the end of season 5, it's not if Adrian finds out, it's a when. And the same goes for Paris. It's not if Paris finds out, it's a when. Everyone will know. It's like a ticking time bomb. I just don't know when. But it will happen. It has to happen. I'll be mad if it doesn't. Hi, sorry, editing Hayes here. I was watching back and even though it was only the day after, I disagreed with what I said. That's how quickly I changed my mind. So it's about the last 2 scenes, with the final beach scene with Alia and Marinette talking about this awful thing that's happened, and then Alia at the end being like, oh, just tell me, how do I get her to like trust me or whatever. And in the original, which I won't show you, but I was basically like, would Alia be okay with it? And honestly, I think if Marinette told Alia on her own terms, I think she would largely be okay with it. I definitely think, obviously I didn't think this yesterday, I was very tired. I agree with everything else I said in the video, although Chloe's outfit, not sure it's quite it, but anyway. Is that I'm pretty sure Alia just wants to hear it from Marinette. If Marinette told, let's say she told Milen that Gaby Baby was Monarch Daddy, and then Milen told Alia, Alia would be mad at Marinette that Marinette couldn't tell her herself. is because I think Alia, one reason she was so mad is that she found out through the middleman of the orb, and that Marinette had lied to her as well. Whereas now at the end of Revelator, Alia knows Marinette is keeping something a secret, but Marinette, because of the events of this episode, she feels unable to disclose it to Alia. So honestly, I think Alia will find out again, whether it's the end of this season or later on in the show. I think this time, if Marinette tells her, assuming she does that, when she gets Cat Noir series Miraculous Cat Noir, every time she tells Ali, because it goes to her as I'm sorry, I'm gonna come do this because I can't do it. That'd be funny, just rings up, it's like, I have grievously upset someone, could you please come and mind wipe them? I'm assuming it only applies to situations with Akuma's, not just a general thing. But let's say Marinette tells Alia, I do think, like on her own terms and her own time, I do think Alia will receive that better. However, Alia, like one of the reasons she was like in that rooftop scene towards the end of the Akuma attack before the Miraculous Cat Noir, one of the reasons Alia was mad was, well, first of all, she thought it was cruel to keep it from Adrian. And second of all, is that she now has to lie to Adrian. And Alia doesn't like lying, as we saw in episodes like in Rocketeer. She was lying to Nino and she felt terrible about it. And this is, I would argue, a much greater secret that could affect not just Adrian, not just Marinette, like the entire city really. So it has a lot more gravity than just lying to Nino that she's still being Rena Rouge as Rena Furtive. So I still think Alia will be mad to some extent that she now has to keep this secret, you know? So whilst I admire Alia wanting to help Marinette, like in that last scene of the episode when she's talking to Trix and she's like, how do I get Marinette to trust me and tell her, like, show her like that I'll be okay with whatever the secret is, and then in the beach scene wanting them to be close and for Marinette to be able to disclose the secret to her. I get why Marinette's paranoid. I would be too. Like, obviously in most situations you don't get the, let's say, the privilege, the opportunity to see what someone's reaction is and then take it back. So I 100% understand why Marinette is keeping it a secret from her, because if I had that ability, I'm like, yeah, well, I wouldn't tell you. I could find out what people's reactions are. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you that. So I definitely think Alia would receive it better if Marinette told her in confidence instead of Alia finding out in some other method. But I do still think Alia would be concerned about it because she's having to keep such a big secret. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. What do you think?
8 out of 10 overall. It was basically a little bit disjointed, and I really think it would have been more satisfying if Vincent had a plausible motivation. No, of course it wouldn't have justified him doing this to Marinette in the episode, but I just think it could have been a little better structurally. For example, one of the things like the graffiti, like it's already at the bakery. I felt it was a bit weird because we haven't like seen the effects of what Vincent's been doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when did the first podcast go up? Did this start as a gradual thing, or did he just suddenly turn on them and start bullying Marinette? So I felt the structure and motivations were just a little bit disjointed. Same for Marinette and her being so naive with Vincent. It was just a bit disjointed. MVP was of course Alia, because she was amazing. She was great in this episode. Alia was amazing. However, special mentions for Cat Noir because he got his power up, and also for Mark because he appeared in the episode for like 0.5 seconds and he is my son, so of course I had to mention him. And also Maya, who is my daughter, apart from Aeon, but Aeon wasn't here. Anyway, besties, I'd love to know what you think of this episode. Of course, if you're going to leave me a long comment, then I can't wait to read it. But if you are, if you could please just split it up into some paragraphs so it makes it a little bit more easy for me to read, that would be wonderful. I don't care if the paragraphs make sense. I'm not your English teacher. I just have bad eyesight and I'm pretty tired, so I'm probably gonna wash my makeup off. Anyway, I'd love to know what you all think. Do we want a theory video on this? Like how it's going to affect Alia and Marinette's relationship going forward? I think it could be interesting. I don't know, I'll have a think. Maybe for Thursday. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think of this, besties, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!